Welcome to an episode of Founder in the Chair. Today I'm so excited to bring to you an international DJ. He's also a business owner and a coach. How does he do all of this? Well, he's here to tell us today. So the founder in the chair today is Sukh Sapra. Welcome, Sukh.
Thank you, Veena. Thank you for having me.
So, all those things, how do you do it all?
Well, thanks for the introduction. It's very nice of you and kind of you. How do I do it all? There's a lot to what I do. You mentioned quite a few things there already. But I think I'm going to start a little bit with my background and then we'll get into what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. So go for it.
I come from humble beginnings. We came to this country when I was 7. We fled the war in Afghanistan in 1993 and we arrived here. So when I first got here, I was just kind of very young, obviously, but finding my feet, finding my place in, society here in the UK, because I wasn't,
How old were you?
7. I was 7.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me a long time to kind of become this confident person that I am today. I wasn't always like this. I had to work very hard at it. And then, coming back to being a founder, as it's the theme of the podcast, I think business for us as an Afghan Sikh minority has been part and parcel of our lives. Like my granddad in Kabul in Afghanistan used to run stores and shops.
Okay.
And then my dad used to work in the business and, they used to go to different cities and different parts of Afghanistan and find customers. And we're tradespeople. We knew how to buy something for £1, let's just say, and sell it for £2 to make a living.
Yeah.
So for me, growing up in Britain, I always wanted to do something for myself. I knew I always wanted to go into business. I didn't know what that was going to be, how that was going to look. Obviously, what I do today is not product driven, it's service driven. So it's very different to, my background or my family's background in business. But yeah, I've loved the ride so far. I loved all the lessons. I became a DJ from a very young age. I was always very creative. I was kind of like we got family over, Sukh, so come on, why don't you pull out your dance routine?
Oh,
no, I was
you
like,
danced
I was
as well.
always into like acting, dancing, just creative arts was like my thing always from a young age. I felt like that's how I expressed myself, and I very quickly at a young age became the entertainer. So anyone that would come over, they'd be like, oh, go mimic this uncle, or mimic this scene from this movie, and I'd happily do it and everyone would have a laugh. So I was always dubbed the entertainer in the family.
Okay.
So I always knew I wanted to be in the spotlight. I wanted to do something where, I'm the center of attention.
Love that.
So, but it took quite a lot of work in me becoming that, because it was, I wasn't naturally confident. So I had to work very hard at kind of developing my speech, being able to talk in public. I remember like the first few gigs I did, I was like, people were like, can you please like talk? I'm like, yeah, I'm trying. Like, you're supposed to host and make announcements and engage and stuff like that. And I just wasn't able to do it.
So how did you then turn that all around?
So I would practice at home. I would practice like looking in the mirror, I'd talk to myself.
Yeah.
And, slowly I developed it, but I always needed that validation externally. Like as a DJ, we thrive when the crowd is rocking.
Yeah.
We thrive when, the atmosphere is buzzing in the room and you got that crowd in the palm of your hands, where anything you play now is going to be like, oh, wow, Sukh, you smashed it today. But it takes a while to build people to that level.
Yeah.
So initially, I wasn't a confident DJ or someone that I could say was in it from the get-go saying, yeah, I'm going to turn this into a business and I'm going to, DJ abroad and have a production company and all this, that, and the other. For me, it was just like, I'll be happy to just DJ in a bar if someone gives me a chance.
Yeah.
So I always needed that external validation. I didn't believe in myself from the get-go. I mean, we can call it imposter syndrome or conditioning or many things that you can label it when you start unpacking the layers. I actually didn't start taking DJing very seriously until like I got married and then had my first child, because up until then I was working multiple jobs and we as a family and myself as an individual tried multiple businesses which failed and then had its own financial implications, I beg your pardon. So when I think I was 28 when we had Nirvana, my daughter. And it was around that time that things really, like Party Rock had been around for about 2 to 3 years at that time. And it was then that things really started to go in the right direction for myself as a DJ and for Party Rock. But when I reflect, it's because, you know, I started to get that validation that I'm actually good at this from people that were attending the events that I was doing. And then I started to believe in myself and my ability to not just DJ, because I knew as a DJ, if you put me in front of 2 decks and a mixer, I'll have a fantastic time and I'll enjoy it and I'll do some amazing mixes. But is that what the crowd wants? So there's many parts to it. So when I started to learn that I actually can entertain as well as a DJ, other than just be able to mix some songs together, that's when I realized that, okay, I can turn this into a business. So really and truly it worked when I doubled down on it. Up until the time when I was airy-fairy about it and thinking, I'm going to do it on the side and still have a job and try other businesses.
So were you working as well?
Yeah, I was working the whole time. So like, you know, I went uni. I did a degree in electrical engineering. During that time I was DJing. And then I got my first like full-time job. During that whole time I was DJing on the weekends, pretty much only on Fridays and Saturdays. And I used to have residencies at bars. And then from that one residency became 2 residencies and then 3. And then I started kind of subcontracting other DJs to work beside me to then fulfill those slots at those other bars.
So you were growing.
Yeah, I was growing. Yeah, and it was fun. But, you know, it still has its kind of like glass ceiling. You can only grow that to a certain level and then you're kind of, your rates are capped and all of that stuff, right? And, you know, the bar and the managers and people in that business want to make their, you know, cut and make their kind of top up on everything. But all during this whole time, I had my Monday to Friday job, Friday, Saturdays, I was doing that, sometimes on a Sunday as well, or if I would do the odd wedding on the weekends. And then when I started to grow like the wedding market and people started to really see me as someone and take me seriously as someone that does weddings, it got to a point where the diary was then kind of had enough dates booked in for me to be able to say, actually, you know what, I'm ready to leave my job now because this can sustain me.
Brilliant.
But that took a long time. And
how long did it take? How many years?
When I first started DJing, I was 15, and this didn't happen till I was 29.
So that was a journey.
Yeah, but you know, I think when I was 20, it's from when I was like 25 to 29 when I took it seriously.
And you left work at 29?
I left work at 29.
So if someone's doing it on the side right now, but want to be where you are today, what advice would you give them?
I would say you definitely want, if you can have someone to mentor you, that you can shadow, that can guide you, it's definitely going to give you a huge advantage. You don't need to reinvent the wheel like I did. I was like, maybe it's an ego thing, I don't know, but I was like, I don't want to be working for someone else. I already have a job, so this is something that I want to do on my own. But I learned a lot of things the hard way, whereas had I, you know, just worked as part of another DJ company or roadshow, as we would mostly call it in those days, I would have learned a lot of skills very quickly, even in terms of like entertaining and delivery of music and speech, but also the back end of the business, which I learned the hard way and I made a lot of mistakes. So I would say if you're looking to become, anyone out there that's looking to become like a full-time DJ, obviously first do it as a side hustle. Get good at it, master your craft, learn in your bedroom, spend those hours because there's no substitute for that. And once you become a good DJ and you can deliver music, then obviously go out there and seek work and then do the basic things like deliver on your word, be on time, show up early, do your research. Like in my early days of marriage, my idea of date night would be my missus and I sitting on my bed would have Netflix on and I'll be organizing my music library. Like that was my time to put in the graft because Monday to Friday in the evenings I wasn't DJing. So I was like, okay, I need to craft playlists that if any given moment something changes in the crowd, I got a track to drop and it's gonna hit.
So you said earlier, crowd pleasing. How
Yeah.
do you know?
So it comes with experience.
Okay.
Obviously, when you're playing something that's not working, it's going to be very obvious that people are not dancing, and versus when you play something that will work, right? And then so it's reading people, reading body language, and then the more you do it, it's like repetition. You keep doing it over and over again, and then you're able to, read a crowd, so to speak, with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
So learning the craft and knowing the business are two different things. The business element will come when you start doing it day in, day out, over and over again. But learning the craft is in your control. I always look at it in two different ways. Like being in business is very different to becoming good at something.
Okay.
Because I was having a conversation with my friend a couple of days ago who's trying to quit smoking, and he's been a smoker for about 15 years. And he was like, yeah, Sukh, man, like, I've never had the discipline to kind of see something through on myself, and I really want to see it through because I wanted to go see him. And he's like, nah, I'm staying away from socializing at the moment because it's going to then entice me into smoking. So fair enough. He held his boundaries and I respected that. And so first I reminded him of where he does have discipline in his life so he can have a bit of a confidence boost.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I told him that it's always better to experiment on yourself first, because your circle of control, you are in full control of yourself. Whereas if I wanted to get fit, I know I need to reduce my calorie intake. I need to go to the gym a certain number of times a week, and I need to do certain amount of steps in a day and focus on good nutrition. Nobody's controlling that for me. I am in full control of that, right? It requires discipline, of course, but the results will show immediately in the sense that you apply it to yourself and there's no way the results won't come. You don't know what day they're going to come, but they will show up, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I think in business, there's many moving parts. I can be doing everything that I need to be as a really good entrepreneur and business owner. But the moving parts are the economy, the client, their mood, their budget. So they may not still engage or interact with me, which then will present its own challenges for me, right? So business, like the curve is never this. It's always not linear. It's like exponential, right? So whereas I feel like when you experiment on yourself, the curve is kind of linear because the more graft you put in, the more results
And
you're
like
going
you
to see.
said, you control it.
And you control it, so you control it. So with business, you don't have control of everything. But as a DJ, if I was to break that down, my craft is in my hands. I can be as good as I choose to be. Whereas I may not be the best business DJ company owner. Does that make sense? Because now I have to go and learn sales and marketing and employ the right people that are then going to crew for me and be a good driver and not have, drinking and driving points or be banned. And so my insurance is going to cost me the right amount so I can fit within the client's budget. So there's too many moving parts. So first get good at what the base is, good at your craft, and then slowly turn that into a business. And then how you're going to make that happen, it will come over time and through experience. You're going to make mistakes.
Of course. So you mentioned you're a coach as well. Tell us a bit about that.
So it's a really interesting story actually, because it came about in lockdown. I think the whole world was kind of, rethinking their lives in COVID, and as was I. So very early in lockdown, I lost my mum. And obviously my business was shut down, and being in the events industry, we were one of the sectors that was hard hit. So for the first, I would say 1 year of lockdown, almost 1 year. First 6 months actually of lockdown, I didn't think about vocation and what I should be doing outside of my current, profession.
Yeah.
I actually ended up being a driver for Amazon during that time because I had a van sitting there and I had time on my hands. So I was like, let's utilize it too.
Okay. And Amazon were really busy?
Amazon were very busy, yeah. I got one bonus of £500. So thank you, Mr. Bezos.
Wow. Okay.
So coming back to, I actually, because I was going through a very tough time, even before COVID had hit. Certain challenges I'd come across in, personal life and business and stuff like that, that I wasn't processing. I was just kind of letting it be.
Yeah.
So when, obviously during lockdown, I had all the time. and all the mental capacity to process things.
Yeah.
And I really took that time to turn inwards. I turned to spirituality. I turned to Sikhi and Gurbani to give me answers. And then through having, various conversations with, my trusted friends, somebody suggested that, I go and seek therapy. And, I actually perked up at the idea of it. I was like, that's the best advice I've had in years.
That's so nice that you were open to it. Sometimes men will be like, I don't need it.
Yeah. And, there's that whole stigma around, being the recipient of a therapy session, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't see it that way at all. I was like, it's for my benefit at the end of the day, and who cares? And the world doesn't need to even know anyway, apart from now. So I went in, I did sessions with this woman who's such a fantastic therapist. And we did them via Zoom. I did it for I think 6 months on a weekly basis.
Okay.
And it was through conversations with her that she planted a seed. And because our conversations were so deep and so even spiritual at some point, the topics that I would bring to the table, that she actually said to me, you speak so eloquently about these subjects, and I wonder if you have more to offer to the world than just being a DJ. So she had planted that seed. And then so I sat with it and I thought about this, okay, what can that be? And then I didn't force it. I just let it come to me. And when I look at my own life journey and the things that, I've been through, and, obviously hardships and all these things are relative and everybody goes through it. But when I took a stock of my life and where I feel like I had a skill that can be kind of made out of this, I kind of leaned towards coaching because I feel like it came very naturally to me. And my niche, I would say, if I was to pick one, would be habit coaching, because I feel like I've always tried and tested and done things and not done things and kind of looked at them in a very pragmatic way and think, okay, because I did so and so, this has now happened, this is the result. So I always feel like you can break down anything in life, whether it's success in business, success in health or wellness, or being a parent. It comes down to a certain set of habits that people follow. Certain set of rules that you kind of become non-negotiable over time. That word gets thrown around quite a lot nowadays, non-negotiable. But over time, certain things that you do that you don't even know that become hardwired in you. Like Dr. Joseph Dispenza says, the brain cells that fire together, wire together. And that's what he's alluding to, that, when you do certain things repeatedly over some certain number of days or weeks or months, it becomes wired in you. So I'm always fascinated by people who are, the world's best at something, because it's how many hours did you go through to get there? There's a certain set of routines and habits that you cultivated for you to achieve that result. So for me, putting that and then my love for neuroscience, which I would love to spend more time on, for me, habit coaching was it felt natural for me to kind of learn more about and hopefully be able to impart some wisdom on it.
Wow. So do you have clients who...
Because my business takes up so much of my time, I don't actively kind of advertise myself as a coach, where I want to seek clients. But to answer your question, yes, I do have people
your
that
friend
subscribe.
Who's
that was just a casual conversation.
I get he's just a friend, but you're using your skills.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that, I have many people in my life, whether friends or colleagues or associates, that kind of come to me or turn to me for being led and guided in certain scenarios.
So you said earlier that somebody who wants to become a DJ now should go and find somebody to mentor with, shadow.
Yeah.
Would you be one of those people they could contact?
Yeah, I'd be honored. Absolutely. If someone found value in, shadowing me, which I think there's definitely will be a great level of kind of experience to be learned from. Then I'll definitely be open to it. Yes, the right person who's willing to put in the work, because I won't put up with anyone who just will give it the...
Yeah. Because they're very long hours, aren't they?
Very long hours. So, when we first came out of lockdown, to answer your part about long hours.
Yeah.
I was at that point, because our business had suffered for so long.
Yeah.
I was kind of the everything man in the business. Like I was doing the sales, the calls, the driving, the setting up, the packing down, the DJing, along with support from like my crew and my staff members.
Yeah.
But we couldn't afford staff to a level where, you know, things are taken care of and I just turn up. I had to be there because I was the one that designed the show. I was the one that then delivered it and executed it with help of people around me, right? So the hours were crazy. The hours were like, you know, waking up at 8, 7 in the morning sometimes because you got a massive production that day. And mind you, at that time, because we had just come out of COVID, they were 7 days a week. So to do like a full day's, like a wedding production, you got to be turning up at site at maybe 10 o'clock. But before that, the prerequisite is that you got to be in the warehouse at 7 a.m. to load the van and do the checklists and then get to site and then offload and set up and then still be fired and geared up and roaring and full of energy to deliver, you know, this couple's best night that they're ever going to have.
Yeah. It's a big responsibility. That's like the biggest day, and they've spent so much money on it.
It is.
And the entertainment side's key, because otherwise your guests are going to go home and say, well, that was shit.
Yeah, it's a massive responsibility. And like in our line of work, there's no take two. There's no like, all right, you know what, we're just going to cut that part out. It doesn't exist. It's like, if you get a bride and groom's entrance wrong, you're doomed. It's done.
Yeah.
They're not going to re-enter the room.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's very high pressure.
Yeah.
So you have to be on top. Like your mental game has to be like the best.
So that's a really long day. So come 6, 7 o'clock when that's it, you're on.
Yeah.
How are you still showing up with 100% energy? What do you do?
What do I do? So like I do many things, but at that time it was just, I was looking at the figure at the end of the month. Number one, I needed to, you know, take care of business and take care of my family.
Yeah.
But at that time, it just came naturally to me because I'd been doing it for so many years, number one. But number two, you really have to find it in you to be like, you know what, someone's given me a massive responsibility here. I can't back out. That's not me. That's not who I am. If I was going to back out, I wouldn't have taken it on. So just knowing that rests on my shoulders, there's no ifs, ands or buts. There's no question. You're going to deliver. So you just kind of have to find that, you know, in the pit of your stomach, that energy's there. You just got to find it and call upon it when it's needed.
Yeah. I know you go to the gym a lot. You eat well. So
Always.
do you make sure that you're fueled properly, keeping yourself fit and healthy?
Yeah.
Is that another piece of advice for an up-and-coming DJ to make sure? Because obviously if they're really long days, I mean, I know personally I'd be dead by 6 o'clock if I started at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
So what other tips would you give?
So definitely for a DJ and people in the nightlife business, I would say, you know, nourishment, fueling your body with the right food, having a self-care routine that it's actually self-care, not just turning up in the gym, because, you know, just being macho only is not going to get you kind of, I look at wellness, thanks to my wife Deepa, as a holistic thing. It's we are one whole piece. So there's got to be elements in there for mental wellness, your spiritual wellness, and your physical wellness, and then nourishing and fueling your body the right way. So like, for example, my routine normally on a day would look like, you know, me, if I don't have an event the night before, then I'll be waking up around 5 a.m. That's by choice. If you're in the nightlife business, you don't have to be waking up that early, but I'm just an early riser. So, you know, and then, you know, I want to spend some time reflecting and reading. I want to do a bit of like just sitting in silence or meditating, and then I want to get some movement. I want to either go out for a run or get to the gym. I want to stretch my body. I want to move my body. I want to lift weights. I want to do hard things because I think we have too many comforts in life, and we need to break that a little bit and do hard things like our ancestors did. They didn't need to go to the gym to be fit.
Yeah.
They didn't have grey hairs till they were 50.
Do you have grey hairs now?
I won't answer that question.
So that's actually quite good. So if somebody was to mentor with you, I guess you're going to give them the mindset, not just teaching them how to DJ, how to turn it into a business in the future, and how to have the mindset like you have.
Absolutely. I think, so whoever's listening, if you're the next candidate and you want to come work with me, then please bring your A game. number one. But if you do come with your A game, I will give you my all. And I will hopefully be able to impart what I've learned over the years so that you can then go out and, live your best and life full of your best potential.
Love that. So you're a family man,
Yes.
2 children.
Yep,
So you do really long hours.
I do.
And the wedding season or the entertainment season isn't just summer anymore.
It's not, no.
So how do you balance home and work life?
So, thanks to like the success we've had in the last few years, in the previous years, that, my life is not as hectic as it was coming out of lockdown. Like, we actually have enough staff to kind of take care of a lot of things in the business, like all the operations and logistics. So fortunately, I don't deal with that anymore. So my job on a day-to-day is being in the office, managing sales, managing teams, and kind of working on my skill, working on, branding, and kind of keeping PartyRoc and myself out there at the forefront. So that's my day-to-day, and that helps me manage my time with my family, because we homeschool our children. We've been doing it for the last 4 months now, I think, coming up to 5 months. And I feel like that's such a blessing because I actually get to spend more time with my children. I get to connect with them on a deeper level. But the way I balance all of that is, first I take care of me. I make sure that I'm up early, not because I just want to faff about. It's because I know that the morning window is my time to take care of me, and then I can show up and take care of business and my family. So if my family is going to be up from 8, 9 a.m. in the morning or 7 a.m. in the morning, I know that by 8 or 9 o'clock, my gym routine, my self-care is done. And I don't want to eat into their time to now take care of me. I want to do that before they wake up. So then now I can be fully present for my business and for my family.
Love that. How old are your children?
So my daughter Nirvana's 10. Sean just turned 9. They're 18 months apart. And man, do we get to learn so much from them.
Wow. So homeschooling.
Yes.
You said it's a blessing.
It is. It is.
Why would you say that?
The first and foremost is a selfish reason, because I get to spend more time with them, and I get to spend it at my convenience, because if I'm in and out the house, for example, if they were at school and I was in and out the house, I wouldn't be seeing them. Whereas now, if I'm in and out the house, they're there. So I get to have like these impromptu conversations with them, or they'll catch me off guard and be like, "Oh, Dad, look what we did," or "Look what we found," or "Did you know?" And it just sparks different conversations every day, which I probably would have missed the opportunity to have had they been in school. And the big difference in what I see from them going to school and them being at home is that the nervous system is so calm. They're so much more present. They have almost zero TV time, apart from on the weekends. Weekdays, there's zero TV time. Whereas had they been at school, I would have lost that window of, say, 6 to 7 hours whilst they're at school. And then when they come back, it's almost like, unless you put them in activities and then run their nervous system, sky high again after school, they'll be like in zombie mode. They just want to crash. And the easiest way for children, and again, coming back to modern society, people in our society in these days, to kind of unwind is to sit in front of the television.
All kids have an iPad these days.
There you go. So
everywhere you go.
They were just kind of being programmed to be consumers. Whereas now, I feel like they're getting the opportunity to be creators, which is such a big difference, because now they're at home. They want to come up with a business plan. They want to sell juice to the neighbor to raise money to go and buy X, Y, and Z.
Oh, wow, I love
they're
that.
being entrepreneurial or resourceful at the very least, right? Like they're thinking on their feet. Whereas not that school wouldn't teach them that, but school wouldn't give them the opportunity. School is going to teach you how to be good at listening, following instructions. And this is by no means a debate to start homeschooling your kids. There's many advantages to school. If you send your children to school, please continue to do so. So this is not me kind of preaching anything.
It's just
giving
your
my
experience.
take and my experience on it.
So your son, I think he likes DJing as well?
Yeah, he's absolutely in love with it. He actually copied one of my remixes yesterday and made the same remix. And I was actually shocked at how good he's actually made it, because it was in sync, like the beats, everything. I just told him, you're half a bar off bar. That's it. Everything else is intact. So yeah, he's learning, he's experimenting. He's got like every app under the sun, the apps that I've never even heard of. He has, and he experiments on them, and he wants to be a music producer and a DJ. And he goes, I'm going to take PartyRoc to like 100 employees, and we're going to be all around the world. Yeah,
you can retire then soon.
I hope it's
I love that.
as soon as it can be.
When do you think you'll retire?
I don't think I'm ever going to retire from working. And, I'll continue to DJ for as long as people have me.
Yeah.
And I think, I feel like age is just adding to my repertoire. Like, I feel like I'm gaining so much more over time because I'm kind of honing in on what's working for me and being authentic. And then that's allowing me to show up as a better DJ, as a better business owner, and so on and so forth. So, to answer your question, I don't want to retire anytime soon. And I don't know if I can put an age or number on it right now, but I would say let's give it 8 to 10 years and we'll see how it goes.
So what is your vision over the next 8 to 10 years? What are you going to be doing? So you've got PartyRoc,
We've got
an AV company.
Yeah, we have an AV company. So PartyRoc is our DJ company in the DJ front and like the entertainment side. And then we did like a strategic alliance or partnership with an AV company called Target AV with my business partner, Kunal. So my vision for the two companies is that we want to take PartyRoc international. We want to, travel around the world and rock dance floors and parties everywhere we can go and provide entertainment and talent. And for our AV side of the business, for Target AV, my vision is to, be in like large conferences, be at product launches, be at fashion shows, be at, anywhere where a set of skill is required in terms of from a technical point of view, in sound or visual delivery, in lighting, in cutting edge technology, which is what we kind of specialize in. So being able to turn your event into like,
something spectacular.
Yeah. So so that's what we do as an AV company. We transform your venue and your vision into like a spectacular.
And any other businesses on the horizon?
There are a couple, just things that we're kind of researching and kind of getting to know about, learn about. I won't dwell too much on what that is, but what I recently learned, like just through listening to, there's so much media out there nowadays, right? So I was recently listening to a podcast and I can't remember the lady's name, and man, she was good, but it was on the Diary of a CEO, where she said that, the way to grow like your business network or grow your wealth or expand your current business is by looking at things within your own business, study them, learn which parts you are outsourcing or which parts you are not doing yourself, and bringing contractors or someone in or another company in to do. And then if you can take a piece of that into your own business and bring down your costs, that's another form of earning. So we're looking at ways as to how we can do that within our own business. There are certain elements of the business, by nature, in every business, you have to outsource things. Yeah. We do that as well. So we're looking into things that we can potentially bring in-house so that it cuts over overheads, and then obviously in return, your bottom lines grow. And hopefully you get to learn about that field that you're now trying to kind of, bring in-house. So, there's so much opportunity to learn there.
I love that. So there's going to be more businesses, and you said you're an entrepreneur. So this it's not just going to be Target AV, PartyRoc. Anything else that you do?
So I just want to continue, showing up as my best self wherever I can for my family, for my colleagues, myself. And I think as long as I continue to do that well, then everything around me will flourish and grow.
Yeah. And it seems like your coaching just becomes a natural part of the whole business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like, so I think if I was to pick an industry or pick like a vertical where I want to coach, I would say I would probably want to coach in the event space. I would love to coach other DJs or other people that work in nightlife, because it's very hard to maintain and balance this lifestyle. And I know I'm not the only one that's done it or done it well. But I know that there's people out there that struggle as well. So if I can help someone, kind of guide them in the right way and just kind of give them a tips through my own book, so to speak. I don't have a book, but not yet. So if I can impart some of that and it helps them, then that's great. So I think I'd be best fit to, first of all, coach within this space and this vertical, and then see where that goes.
So I've noticed on your Sukh Sapra Instagram page, you've started showing a day in the life of DJing, dad.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's listening, that's a great page to follow. Is it at Sukh Sapra?
Yes, so my page is at Sukh Sapra on Instagram, and then if you click the link in the bio on my Instagram page, you'll be able to find everywhere else where I am available on social media and online.
What made you start showing up like that on social media, like showing your life? What made you do that? Because some people can be quite shy about it, or imposter syndrome.
That's right.
As you said earlier.
Yeah. We all have imposter syndrome to some extent. But I think what happened was, like, when I was turning up at events and doing weddings and people's parties and stuff like that, a lot of people would take the time out to come and comment about what I was doing outside of like my DJ life. Like the obvious one, like, oh bro, you lost so much weight, or you did X, Y, and Z, or we see that you homeschool your children and stuff like that. So I felt like there was a part of my life that people wanted to learn more about. There's an element of that, and there's obviously going to be people that don't want to know more about. So I'm just sharing for the people that actually connect and resonate with it, because I think there's value there to be had for the people that want it. And if I can kind of share that through my journey and through my page, I'm doing it anyway, I might as well share it. And if someone gets to learn something from it, or they get inspired by it, or they just have fun watching it, then great.
No, it's really good, and it's really good content. I can see your content game is like up there now.
Yeah, thank you. So 2025, man, then the aim is to kind of up my presence as an individual, and kind of upscale my branding, and we live in a digital world, so I've got to keep up with the times.
So do you think it's important to brand yourself, as well as obviously you've got your businesses?
Yeah, I feel like it's paramount to brand yourself, because I feel like, again, coming back, we live in a digital age, and everything, you are the funnel, everything begins with you. So if I can work and kind of make myself indispensable, then I think things will flow through me, whether that's PartyRoc or Target AV, or me starting other businesses, because business is a connection, business is a conversation. Although it used to be. Nowadays, it's all digital, right?
Yeah.
So me growing my digital kind of portfolio, it's simply for that, because, we live in an attention economy, and for the longer I have your attention, the more chances are that you'll engage and hopefully do business with me.
Yeah. Love that. Thank you. So can you please tell us how we get in touch with any of your businesses?
Yes.
And I know you mentioned, but if you could just tell the camera over there all the ways to get hold of you.
Sure, yeah. So best place to find me is on Instagram, which is at Sukh Sapra. You can also go on our website, which is www.partyroc.com. That's PartyRoc with a ROC, no K, just to be quirky, or targetav.com. You can find us, get in touch with us. We'd love to do your events and take care of your AV and entertainment needs. Give us a call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think you're doing a fantastic job with the podcast.
Thank you.
I've seen your page, watching your page grow, and really excited to see where this goes for you. So well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So thank you to Sukh Sapra. So you know how to get hold of him now. Please do look him up. And if you are a budding DJ, he's the person to show you the way. Thank you so much.